Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good day to you, depending where you are in the world. It's our nighttime devotion. We're reading from the devotional To Be Like Jesus. The title today is Threefold Miracle Reveals Sabbath Sacredness. Exodus 16:35, and the children of Israel ate manna 40 years until they came to an uninhabited land. They ate manna until they came to the border of the land of Canaan. Excuse me. Every week during their long sojourn in the wilderness, the Israelites witnessed a threefold miracle designed to impress their minds with the sacredness of the Sabbath. A double quantity of manna fell on the 6th day, none on the 7th, and the portion needed for the Sabbath was preserved sweet and pure. When, if any, were kept over at any other time, it would become unfit for use. In the circumstances connected with the giving of the manna, we have conclusive evidence that the Sabbath was not instituted, as many claim, when the law was given at Sinai. Before the Israelites came to Sinai, they understood the Sabbath to be obligatory upon them. In being obligated to gather every Friday a double portion of manna in preparation for the Sabbath, when none would fall, the sacred nature of the day of rest was continually impressed upon them. And when some of the people went out on the Sabbath to gather manna, the Lord asked, "How long refuse ye to keep my commandments and my laws?" The children of Israel did eat manna 40 years until they came to a land inhabited. They did eat manna. And until they came into the borders of the land of Canaan. For 40 years they were daily reminded by this miraculous provision of God's unfailing care and tender love. In the words of the psalmist, God gave them of the corn of heaven. Man did eat angels' food. That is, food provided for them by the angels. Sustained by the corn of heaven, they were daily taught that, having God's promise, they were as secure from want as if surrounded by fields of waving grain on the fertile plains of Canaan. Oh, short and sweet, sorry. So basically, as it says, threefold miracle, if you really think about it, if you were aware of it in the first place, they were given just enough manna every single day to see them through the day. The manna rained from heaven, they collected it up, and that was enough for them to sustain them through that day. And that happened every day for those 5 days, Monday, let's say Sunday to Thursday. On the Friday, they were allowed to collect double. Now, just to let you know, if they collected more than they needed on the Wednesday night, what they didn't need would be spoiled by the next day. That's what would always happen. It would spoil overnight. So they had to then collect the next day. This is like getting your blessings every day from the Father. On the Friday, they were allowed to collect double. And they were allowed to collect double so they wouldn't have to go and collect on Sabbath. Now, wouldn't have to go to the fields and harvest on the Sabbath. It's basically the same thing. So they would collect double. So on the Sabbath, they could keep the Sabbath. They don't have to think about bringing in more food, cooking, or anything like that. Now, the miracle there is that it didn't spoil. Firstly, it didn't spoil overnight. As it said, it didn't spoil overnight, and it was still enough there for the Sabbath to keep them. And then the next day, they would then collect what they need. Whatever they had that didn't need, it spoiled. So this is how it happened. So as it explains here, a double quantity of manna fell on the 6th day, none would fall on the 7th as well. None would fall on the Sabbath. So they would only fall on the 6 days. They collected double quantity on a day of preparation. None would fall on the Sabbath. Now, if that isn't a constant reminder for 40 years, I don't know what is. But this is the Sabbath. And you could take this as God's blessings are continually falling for you, even on the Sabbath. And our job is to collect them, receive them every morning when we wake up. We thank the Father, receive the blessings, and we implement them into our lives. We die to self. God bless you.